Beautiful. So here we are for another episode of the Becoming Cosmically You podcast. And today we have Abby with us. Abby's going to be talking to us about astrology. I'm really excited about this, Abby. So let us know who you are, where you're from, and where your journey began.
Thank you so much for having me, Lou. It's so good to be here. I yeah, I mean, I guess if we're talking about astrology, we can go back to when I was a kid and I was just always so interested and um I think when we start growing up, sometimes some of these things can get shut down a little bit, or things are not cool enough anymore. And yeah, so I went on my way. I was a pretty competitive elite athlete when I was younger and through my 20s as well. And I did a lot of studies and I worked, and then I got to a point in my life where I was like, I feel like I've done it all. Like, in fact, I hadn't. But yeah, I had definitely experienced a lot with my um sports. And yeah, I ended up heading overseas. I went traveling. I lived in Canada, and came back to Australia after 3 years of living in Canada. Um, and when I came back after 3 years of living in Canada, it was a little bit of a it was a little bit of a ride because you go and live in another country and you kind of leave everything behind, and then you come back to a place that sort of is so familiar but also not familiar. And so I went on a bit of a soul searching journey, not the first one, but I ended up moving up to the mountains here I was in Victoria, which is down in the south in Australia, where we have a little bit of snow. And yeah, I picked up a book that I'd sort of read a little bit of before. It's called The Artist's Way, and it teaches you to go back to your childhood and connect with your creativity. And I realized that a lot of the I'm a pretty minimalist person, and I realized that a lot of the books that I had kept with me were those ones of astrology. So I was like, there's something here. So I started devouring astrology podcasts and books and took courses, and then I started reading charts and picked it up pretty quickly, to be honest. That was around 2019, and we had pretty serious lockdowns here in Australia, and so I was part of that. And I had a lot of time to think. I was alongside all of this, I had a variety of different jobs that I was doing. One of them was taking school kids overseas, traveling. And when the world got locked down, that job was non-existent anymore. But
Mm.
as a fallout, I ended up getting a role as a tour guide here in Central Australia. So I took that role and kind of kept the astrology passion in the background. But going out into the desert meant that I got to sleep out under the stars every night and really be in the dark skies. And this really expanded or like caused me to go and, really dive into the astronomy side of things. And so fast forward a few years, I have started reconnecting back in with the astrology, and yeah, have I'm now helping people interpret their charts. What I do is I really help people understand why they are the way they are through the lens of astrology, and I'm starting to teach people how to understand and read astrology and read their own charts, because I think there is just so much value in it if you can understand it. And yeah, it's pretty incredible.
Oh wow, I love that. So how do you lead someone through their astrology? You said looking at their charts, like what would be the starting point if someone was interested in like researching their
Yeah.
astrology?
Yeah, if you don't really know much about astrology, there's a few places you can start. the big term right now is the big three. We used to just know our star sign, which is essentially our sun sign. I like to call it because it's where the sun placement is. But now people know a little bit more. And in fact, we have not just the sun sign, we have a moon sign and a Venus sign, and every single planet sits in a sign. And so the big three is our sun, moon, and rising sign. And I think finding out what those are, I mean, it does require a accurate birth time. You can go and find an astrology calculator and plug your details in and get a pretty generic response as what will come back out. Or you can go and have your chart read by an astrologer, and that's what I do. I read people's natal charts, and I think the thing about astrology is it's a language, and it's pretty complex language if you don't understand it. And so having someone that really understands sort of educate you as they are taking you through the chart can be really helpful. And I think that's what my clients really appreciate.
Yeah, sure. I mean, there's a lot of in-depth knowledge, I guess, that you've accumulated through the years. So, what are the kind of things that clients are really finding most helpful from their charts at the moment that you've seen?
Yeah, I think that people really find that it's just like it's a really big confirmation because we all know who we are, and when that is confirmed through a blueprint chart, which is like a map of the stars, essentially a map of the planets where they were the minute that you took your first breath, then yeah, it's really confirming to people, and people are it almost allows them to step into own those parts of themselves that maybe have not been celebrated so much, or yeah, or maybe pushed down because it's not like accepted so much. But I think what astrology does, it really helps people to understand that they are a certain way. There's always light and shade energies that can play out, but it gives them a bit more confirmation, which helps them with their self confidence and and all of that type of thing.
Yeah, I love that. My team is saying you're enabling people to peel back the layers and the mass that they've accumulated over the years. And I think we see a lot of that as well. Trauma plays a big
Mm.
part, doesn't it? And like you said, um, you're not always allowed or celebrated to be who you are. So
Absolutely. Yeah. I think and also society plays a big role as well. We are kind of funneled into this idea of things should be a certain way, and this is the direction that we should go and take these steps. And it's not always like that. The ones that kind of break free from that and do their own thing and follow their own path are the ones that are probably going to find happiness in their soul ultimately. And sometimes those paths are for certain people, but not always. There's infinite number of ways that we can choose to live our life.
oh, definitely. Like we are infinite beings, so we have infinite timelines. So we get to
Absolutely.
choose. I love how you're bringing people back to the source of who they are. I think that's really
Hmm.
important, especially this year. I think with everyone that I'm speaking to, and also with all the messages that I'm receiving from Source, this year has all been about right getting visible, showing up as your true, authentic self. Showing up as
Mm.
you are. And I love how you're combining astrology to help people do that. So, do you also help people like with their trauma as well, or is it more on the astrology side of things?
It's more on the astrology. I have worked as a life coach in the past, and I'm working right now to merge the two together. So really, able to offer a program that allows people to learn astrology, but also use astrology, and use the tools of coaching and mindset work to step in and take ownership of perhaps a side of them that they want to improve so they can step into being that highest version of themselves, or that the way they really want to show up in the world.
Yeah, I love that. I love combining the astrology with the coaching. I love that idea.
Hmm.
It's really
Yeah.
beautiful. So I
Yeah,
mean,
absolutely.
what are your personal goals for this year? Have are you a goal setter, or do you are you in alignment with the flow type of person?
Um, I can be a bit of both. I don't have, I haven't connected in with my 2024 goals. And I think I work more on a month to month basis, but I'm
Mhm.
actually getting my signature offer up and running off the ground in the next couple of months. And yeah, we'll see where things flow from there. I'm still working at trying to decide if I'll go back to, work as a tour guide. I think that's a real, it's, I love the role because it takes me out into nature. It puts me underneath the stars. It's such a healthy environment to be outside, and like I'm a hiking guide, so there's a lot of brilliant things about it, but that's something that I need to figure out. I guess you could say
Mm.
I'm the type of person that goes with the flow. I definitely will, follow my intuition and just go where I'm guided for sure.
Yeah, I love that. I think most of us are really work in this kind of niche. We're kind of very much guided by what our next right step
Hmm.
is. And my team just said, well, maybe you should combine this beautiful gift that you have, of tour guide, into your program and do a tour of
Hmm.
the stars, because
Yeah,
you've got like
absolutely.
astrology and tour guide. So why not combine the both? I love that
Yeah, well,
idea.
it is definitely like on the cards and an idea that's been coming into my awareness for a little bit of time now. So, yeah, it's definitely something that will happen eventually.
Yeah, that sounds beautiful. And what type of like problems or things are you seeing people come through with right now that you're able to help them navigate through their astrology charts? Are there any like
Yeah, I
commonalities?
Um, there's definitely common themes as to what people are curious about. There's often people interested in uh, where their relationships are going, or if there is relationships for them, or they're interested in, like, a lot of people are interested in money. A lot of people also are curious about purchasing a house, and is this the right time? What's going to happen here? And then career is another big one. Like, what's going to happen with my business? Like, when
Mm.
is it going to take off? What do I need to do? And astrology is really great in that we can use the timing essentially. And this is a really great practical way to be using astrology, because we can see when areas of our life are going to be activated, and that's what I can help people share with them, what area is perhaps coming into their awareness next. And maybe they have a challenge that they're working through, and you can definitely see that in the chart. If there's a certain challenge that someone might have had underlying throughout their life, and potentially what they need to do to actually overcome that. And yeah, I think that's what I find pretty incredible about astrology, and looking at people's natal charts.
I love that. I love that you're able to kind of map it out for them as well. I think a lot of people
Mhm.
are very visionary and they need to actually see something. So I love how you're
Mhm.
able to combine the spirituality with your coaching, with astrology, and really give them a physical representation. I think that's beautiful and very powerful. Um,
Yeah.
what can you tell us about like planetary energy at the moment? Is there anything that people need to be aware of, particularly any advantages that we could take of, or is it very much on a case by case basis?
Yeah, well, first of all, I say, like, astrology is a tool. So we use our intuition first, and we're not controlled by the astrology, but the energy does mirror down here on Earth. And so um, there are a few big things happening this year, actually, and in particular, I don't know when this episode is going live, but at the end of this week, Pluto is moving into Aquarius, which is a pretty big change. Pluto only moves signs every, let's say, about 15 to 20 years. And so this is a big deal. Like this doesn't happen every day. It doesn't happen every year. And so Pluto is the slowest moving planet. It's a pretty important planet that is responsible for power, responsible for pulling up all the things that are hidden, the secrets, all the crap that's basically sitting underneath. Maybe we can't see it, and it brings it up to transform it, transmute it, and change it so that we can really have a massive transformation in that area of our life. And so Pluto has been moving through Capricorn since 2008, and um, yeah, on Sunday here in Australia, and I think it'll be Saturday for most parts of the world, Pluto shifts into Aquarius, at least until September. It'll do a little retrograde back into Capricorn for a few months, and then in November, we've got Pluto in Aquarius for the next 20 years. So we're kind of standing on the precipice of change here. There's lots of changes that I think are going to be happening.
Mm, yeah, I can really feel that because a lot of the messages that are coming through for me from source are all about transformation. And obviously, people get
Hmm.
excited about transformation, but within transformation, you're going to have to deal with your own shit, right? Your own trauma
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
face it head on. And I'm finding a lot of the messages that are coming through right now are through dream space.
Hmm.
Very, very vivid dreams people having to clear stuff that they thought they cleared before. So it's quite interesting that you're mentioning the planetary movements as well. So just for our readers and listeners and watchers who may not marry up the date, so
Hmm.
Pluto's going into Aquarius on the say the 20th of January
20,
until
20th
September.
of January. Yeah, until September, and then the 20th of November will move into Aquarius for good. So
Mm,
yeah, that's a big shift. I think too, we can also look for what Jupiter does every year. Jupiter changes signs roughly every year, and we have currently Jupiter in Taurus. Jupiter is the planet of expansion, abundance, good fortune, all these juicy, expansive, adventurous topics, really. It's prosperity, wealth, all these beautiful things. And so when Jupiter's moving through an area of your chart, it can have a fortunate and great impact and bring opportunities in that area of your life. So we currently have Jupiter in Taurus. Taurus is all about stability. Uh, it's about being grounded. It is connecting to our environment and our senses. So, food, smell, taste, touch, all these types of things. And so, it's actually co-present in there with Uranus, which Uranus is the disruptor. So it might not be having the expansive effect that it does when it's just in a sign on its own, because Uranus is causing a little bit of chaos. It's causing change, and um, anyway, the two of those will meet up on the 21st of April. And, that I believe is going to be, a pleasant surprise of some form. I think it's going to be a nice alignment. Not necessarily, but usually when planets come together, their energies merge. And so if you think of a planet that represents good fortune and a planet that's responsible for change, then there might be some nice opportunities dropping in. And then shortly
mm,
after that, Jupiter will move on into Gemini, and Gemini is the sign of socializing, communication, ideas, local environment. And I think that's going. It's the I think the pace of life is going to feel like it picks up a lot. And so this is, we can either look at the light energy or the shade energy. I think there's going to be lots more socializing, lots more conversations. The pace of life will feel like it's a bit faster. Ideas coming in, opportunities coming in, opportunities from our local environment. But expansion isn't always good. If we're too much up in our heads, this could cause overthinking. It could be anxiety. It could just be a fast pace that we can't handle. So it's really good to be aware that is coming in at the end of May.
mm. Yeah, exactly. And that's why, staying grounded, having tools, using your intuition, having time for play, surrender, and all that stuff that we advise is
Hmm.
a really good thing because, this experience is just yours, isn't it? It's your own journey.
Absolutely.
And I always say, like, your
Absolutely.
business is really just an extension of who you are. And I think people get
Hmm.
really carried away sometimes with the whole journey. And I'm like, well,
Hmm.
you can press pause whenever you
Yeah.
like, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. And everyone's different, right? There's some people that are creatures of habit and love to do the same thing every morning or whenever whatever it is that they do to bring themselves back to themselves, and that might not be grounding, that might be connecting up, that might be connecting to the stars and the sky. Like I think I definitely have that feeling when I'm outside and when I'm in the desert and it's expansive and you can see the entire sky. Like that's
Mm.
what makes me feel settled, but it's different for everybody. So you got to find what that is for you, and yeah, and practice it because it's so helpful.
Mm. My team just reminded me of a conversation I had with a client this week as well about chaos energy coming in. We work a lot
Mhm.
with entities and beings, and at the moment we see a lot of dragon energy coming into our clients, and
Ah,
that can bring a lot of chaos, in people's lives, and people
yeah.
automatically. That's my cat's tail, by the way. Um, she always likes to get in on this. Um,
Saying hello.
and I think people can see chaos as like a negative thing, but actually, chaos
Mhm.
means a lot of change. And you've just got to
Absolutely.
kind of get yourself in the middle of the tornado somehow.
Yeah. Or use it to your advantage, like
Mm.
not all change is bad. There's change that's good and there's change that's wanted. And I think some people crave change. Like I definitely I'm not a person that has had a lifestyle that's been the same. I'm constantly changing and evolving and shifting, and yeah, you got to find what works for you though.
Oh, yeah, totally. And that's kind of the point here, isn't it? I think a lot of
Mhm.
people are coming through now and realizing that what they've been taught before doesn't fit with them. And it's kind of like putting
Mhm.
a round peg in a square hole. And you've
That's
really got to
right.
find your own way, right? You've got to
Mhm.
take all the
Mhm.
bits that you know, as I'm sure
Mhm.
you have with astrology, and find what works for you. Right, my cat's going to try and hit my, yeah, there we go. She likes loving on my camera when I'm doing these
Oh,
sessions, so I have to hold it.
she wants to say hello to the guests.
Yeah, she does. Both of my cats are black and they're very
Yeah.
spiritual, so they
Well,
love
I'm a
getting involved.
Leo, so she probably is connecting with that side of me.
Most definitely. And yeah, it's all about taking the bits that apply to you, right? I think in spirituality, I don't know whether it's the same in your work. It's about using the parts that apply to you or resonate with you the most and leaving the rest
Mhm.
because
Mhm.
it's not all going to fit. We don't
Yeah,
live by rules, we don't want to
that's
live by
right.
rules. We want to just take the
Yeah.
bits that resonate and leave the rest.
Yeah, and I think we have to be careful, like who we are allowing into our world to guide us, because at the end of the day, when we have a good connection to our intuition, to our inner voice, to our own personal guidance team, whatever you want to call it, that is the strongest thing. And if we're putting our energy out into someone else, saying that they're our guru or they're our guide and this person told me to do this, or even with astrology, I tell people, like, please, like, tell me I'm wrong, tell me this is not accurate, because I can interpret something in many different ways. And if my interpretation is not lining for you, and if it's not aligning for you, it's just not your message, right? Maybe we're not on the align we're not aligned to be working together. So but you can't take everything that I say as gospel. I always say, use your intuition first. If it doesn't sound like you, it's just not your message. So that, and I think, I think what I have been telling clients lately is that this world that we're moving into is going to become even more foggy. It's going to become even more unclear. And we really, if we don't have that connection to our intuition, we're not going to know what's real and what's not. Because now with technology, there's going to be, we're already seeing it. We're seeing fake accounts on social media, we're seeing false videos, fake news, which was termed back in like 2016. There's an astrology transit for that as well. And if we can't discern what is real for us or what is true for us, how, like, we're going to get so mixed up in everyone else and everything that's really going to pick up pace in the next few years,
Mm.
I believe.
Yeah, I totally believe that. And a lot of the work we do is about guiding people through their heart space. And I believe that there's such a beautiful opportunity for the people that who have been doing the work. There's a lot of healers out there who've been doing the work for some 10 years, and now is their
Mhm.
time to step up. That's what I
Mhm.
feel like,
Absolutely.
to get visible and share with people the stuff that they just do as a matter of course. Not
Mhm.
everyone even knows how to connect with their intuition or how to be
That's
led, or
right.
so
Yeah.
one of the messages that I want to just share is that don't just accept that what your spiritual gifts aren't like beautiful and expansive and unique. Like there's
Mhm.
always someone, isn't there, that you can
Mhm.
guide, and I
Yeah.
really feel like with this new age of technology comes a massive opportunity for all these people who are doing these things naturally to come up and
Mhm.
guide others.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think yeah, it's really important. It's really important to be connected to ourselves. And I think, I used to hear like people just say, well, like, what, trust, like, listen to your body. And then, people just nod, listen to your body.
Mm,
But how many people actually are kind of inside their minds going, what does that even mean? Like, what is that mean? Like, because we're so up in our heads, and
mm,
that's a more masculine energy. We want to bring it down into our body and be able to feel. We want both, actually. We want to be able to work in our yang space and in our yin space, feminine and masculine. Like, there is benefits to both, and both energies are gonna get things done, or or not, whatever
yeah.
whatever is right for us.
Yeah, that's it. And everything's perfect, right? Everything's all working out perfectly. That's what I always remind
Mhm.
people. Whatever it
Absolutely.
is, it's working out for your highest good. Just roll with it.
Yeah, that's it.
And try and have fun along the way. Beautiful. Thanks so
Absolutely.
much, Abby. Like, where can people find you if they want to like stalk you or find out more about what you do?
Yeah, of course. Well, if you would like to come on over and check out what I'm doing, you can find me on um, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. My handle on all of those platforms is Stars by Abby. That's Abby is spelled Abby. And then my website is abbylewtas.com. And I also have a podcast called Secrets of the Stars. So you can, if you want to learn more about astrology, learn about what's coming up every month with the with the planet energies, come and tune in over on that podcast.
Oh, I love that. Thank you so much. What we'll do, Abby, is we'll share all those links anyway when we share the podcast. So our guests and our
Amazing.
viewers can, just find you easily. So thank you so much. What we'll do is we'll start recording and then we'll have a quick chat. So thank you so much for
Awesome.
being here.
Thanks so much, Lou. It's great.
You're welcome.